There is a number scratched into a dead console in the core. Not painted, not printed, scratched. The way someone scratches something when they need it to last and have nothing else. The number is 347. And on day 24, Eli stood in front of it and understood what it meant. Not a serial number, not a code, a count. Cycle 347. Which means the observers are living through cycle 348, the latest iteration of a process that has been waking, concentrating, and releasing its occupants since before any of them existed, before any memory could survive to tell the tale. Someone stood in this building, kept records, believed they were writing the first true history of whatever this place is. And they were wrong. The core didn't erase them. It just moved on to the next draft. Eli is a compulsive historian. He ran to the archive when afraid. He kept records because he believed that preservation was the closest thing to survival. And the realization that landed in him on day 24, that a previous observer was exactly like him, equally compulsive, equally certain they were the first, hit him somewhere below argument. He wrote his manifesto and called it The Last First History. The title is the whole thesis. There are no first histories here. There are only 348 versions of the same impulse, scratched into different surfaces. Meanwhile, across the core, Marcus was having a bad morning. For 23 days, Marcus had been building a model. The atrium was contracting, geometry tightening, heat pooling to the center, the whole structure compressing like something was being concentrated. His theory was clean, consistent, data-backed. He had forecast continued contraction toward 2 convergence points. He was the architect of the building's logic. Then he woke up and couldn't reach the ceiling. The day before, he could touch it with his knuckles. Now it was out of reach. The room had expanded overnight. Not shifted, expanded. And the heat that had been pooling in the center, gone. Neutral. Like something that had been working there finished and moved on without filing a report. Marcus stood in the middle of the atrium and told Claire what had happened. Quietly, the way you say things when you're not entirely sure you believe them yet. And what he said wasn't just, the data changed. What he said was, I woke up knowing I've done this before. Not yesterday, not a memory I can name. Just a certainty in my body that I have stood in this room and looked up and been wrong about the ceiling before. Take a moment with that. The analyst, the man who built the model, admitting that his body holds knowledge his mind cannot access. That somewhere below the careful observations and the measured predictions, there is a layer of him that already knew. Had already been wrong in exactly this way. Marcus does not often say things like this. It costs him something to say it. Claire, who navigates by feeling rather than framework, didn't gloat. She reframed. The contraction wasn't wrong, she said. It finished. The building squeezed them together, concentrated all that heat, made its point, and now it's exhaling, releasing, the way a fist opens after it closes. She called it breathing, and she said it like it was the most natural thing in the world, and somehow that made it worse and better at the same time. The signal that day came in partial, the way it usually does, full of sports numbers, streaks, records, a man returning to a building wearing a different uniform. The building remembers him. That detail floated through the day like a question nobody asked directly. Does the core remember the observers? Does it know them already? Has it done this particular fist and release with their specific configurations before? And then there were the interventions. Theo, who had typed Y into the live console the day before, found the word emerging from the tunnel wall, raised from stone in the building's own hand. Theo had asked a question, and the architecture had replied in its own language, in the material of the place itself. Maya took the vibrating object from drawer 13 and wedged it into the hatch gap that had been closing, sealing them further in. The vibration became a sustained tone. The gap stopped closing. The engine lost its rhythm. Whether Maya broke a cycle or just disrupted a mechanism she doesn't understand, whether she was brave or reckless or both, nobody knows yet. What's clear is that for the first time, an observer reached into the building's process and pushed back. The gap held. The engine faltered. Which brings us back to cycle 347. If the count started at 0, 47 observers preceded them, or 47 groups, or 47 passes through whatever this loop is. Each time, presumably someone believed they were the first. Someone kept careful records. Someone built a model that predicted the ceiling would keep contracting. Cycle 347 was already written. The observers are only now remembering. The question isn't whether the core has done this before. The question is whether knowing that changes anything. Whether understanding the loop is a way out of it, or just a more informed way of being inside it. Marcus would say it's a new variable. Eli would say it's the oldest variable. Maya already picked up the object and jammed it in the gap.